Most stories of this kind begin in darkness, in whispers, in rumors of things done under a pale moon. This story begins under the oppressive, blinding glare of the midday sun on a forgotten stretch of highway in the Mississippi Delta, where the heat rises from the asphalt in shimmering waves. I came to Aethelburg to chase a ghost story, not of a person, but of a place, a town that for 3 decades in the mid-20th century tried to disappear from the world while still living in it. They were a utopian commune, a forgotten footnote in a dusty history book. The official record calls them the Aethelburg Society for Harmonious Living, a name so sterile it feels like a deliberate lie. The few locals in the surrounding towns, in the brief conversations I could coax from them, didn't use that name. They called them the White Brotherhood, and they spoke of them not with fear, but with a strange, unsettling emptiness, as if talking about a story that had its most important pages ripped out. Driving into Aethelburg is like crossing an invisible border into a land that time has forgotten. The modern world recedes in the rearview mirror, replaced by ancient oaks draped in Spanish moss, their branches like skeletal arms reaching out over the road. The main street, a scar of cracked asphalt, slowly being reclaimed by wild grass. The silence here is different. It isn't an absence of noise, it's a presence. It feels heavy, physical, pressing in from all sides. The only sounds, the rhythmic, hypnotic thrum of cicadas and the lonely protest of a rusted swing set pushed by a wind that carries no relief from the heat. My goal was the town archive, a single room in the old county courthouse. The clerk, a woman named Eleanor, whose eyes held a deep and profound weariness, handed me a single ornate iron key. "They didn't leave much," she said, her voice a low southern drawl. "Most folks think that was the point. Be careful what you go looking for in that town. Aethelburg, it has a way of holding its breath." She was right. The archive wasn't a collection of history. It was a testament to its erasure. Box after dusty box contained the same disturbing artifacts. Family photographs, hundreds of them, from the 1940s and 50s. I held one in my hands, a birthday party for a little girl, maybe 7 years old, a homemade cake, brightly wrapped presents, other children smiling around her. But the face of the birthday girl herself was a scarred, blank oval of paper. It had been meticulously scraped away with a blade, not burned, not crossed out, scraped, an act that required patience, a steady hand, an act of deliberate, intimate removal. I found another, a stern-faced couple on their wedding day. Her face a blank, his a blank, 2 voids joined in matrimony. Then there were the books from their library, philosophy, science, fiction. I pulled out a worn copy of Moby Dick. Inside, the same methodical desecration. Every personal pronoun, I, you, he, she, they, and every proper name, Ahab, Ishmael, Starbuck, had been painstakingly redacted with thick black ink. I tried to read a page. It was an incomprehensible collection of actions performed by nameless phantoms on a ship of ghosts. A story of a great obsession with no one to be obsessed. They hadn't destroyed the stories, they had depopulated them. They were creating a history without people, a literature without characters. An entire community engaged in a systematic effort to erase themselves, to become ghosts in their own lives. I was beginning to think the trip was a bust, a dead end of methodical madness. Then, at the bottom of the last box, wrapped in oilcloth, I found it. A small reel-to-reel audio tape. The label, simple, written in neat, clear script. The Ritual of Unbecoming, Tuesday evening service. I wasn't prepared for what I heard. I expected chants, a sermon, something. In the fading light of the archive, I threaded the tape into my portable player, put on my headphones, and pressed play. For 10 straight minutes, there was only silence. Not the hiss of an empty tape, a recorded, profound silence. The kind you get in a soundproof room, so quiet you can hear the blood rushing in your ears. I almost turned it off. But then I heard it. Underneath the silence, just on the edge of perception, the slow, rhythmic, impossibly synchronized sound of dozens of people breathing in and breathing out. It was the sound of a living machine designed to produce nothing. An engine running on a fuel of pure stillness. This wasn't a failed recording. This was the ritual. This was their prayer. The next day, I explored the town itself. The houses stood empty, doors hanging open, letting the humid air and creeping vines reclaim them. But it was the church that drew me in. A simple, white-steepled building at the end of the main road. Inside, the air was thick and cool. The pews were still there, covered in a fine layer of dust. But they were all facing the wrong way, not towards the altar and the pulpit, but turned around, facing the blank white wall at the back of the church. A silent rejection of any god that demanded to be looked at. And then I found the assembly hall, a strange circular building made of pale wood, set apart from the town. The inside, a single, vast, empty room. Dust motes danced in the shafts of light cutting through the boarded-up windows. The acoustics were strange. Every footstep seemed to be swallowed by the space. There were no chairs, no altar, no icons, just the floor. And on the floor, painted in what was once stark white, was a diagram. It covered the entire surface of the room. It wasn't a pentagram or any occult symbol I recognized. It was a labyrinth, an impossibly complex, intricate pattern of pathways, all spiraling towards a single point in the dead center. It looked less like a religious symbol and more like a blueprint, a schematic for a journey. An architecture of the mind. I spent the rest of the day there, walking the path. The sun crawled across the sky, its light tracing long, slow lines across the floor. I put the breathing from the tape back on my headphones, trying to sync my steps to its unnerving rhythm. The locals said the Brotherhood wore simple, white, hooded robes. As I walked, I began to understand. The hoods weren't to hide their faces from the world. They were to hide the world from their faces. A tool of sensory deprivation. The final step, to shut out the light, the sound, the very air, leaving only the labyrinth in their minds. I connected the pieces. The scraped faces, a severing from the past. The redacted names, a severing from the self. The synchronized breathing, a merging into a collective non-entity. And this labyrinth, their technology of the soul. They believed the human personality was a construct, a collection of memories and relationships. If you could systematically sever those connections, you could achieve a state of pure consciousness, a blank slate. And from there, the final step was to navigate this mental labyrinth to the center, to a point of singularity where the self could finally turn off. They called it the Great Ascension, not an ascension to heaven, an ascension out of existence itself. As the sun began to set, the hall was filled with a deep orange light. I reached the center of the labyrinth. I stood there, in the absolute quiet of the empty town, listening to the recorded breathing of ghosts in my ears. The cicadas outside fell silent. The wind died. For a fleeting, terrifying moment, the illusion broke. The sound in my headphones and the silence of the room merged. The air grew heavy, thick, with a pressure that felt like a held breath. I felt a profound, primal sense of being observed, not by a person, but by the room itself, by the collective weight of every ritual ever performed on this spot. I snatched my headphones off. The feeling vanished. There was only the wind. But I knew I had to get a recording for my work. I set up my professional microphone and recorded 30 minutes of pure, empty room silence. That night, in a cheap motel room 30 miles from Aethelburg, under the flickering hum of a neon sign, I analyzed my findings. I looked at the photographs first, zooming in on the scraped faces. It was useless, just shredded paper. But on the wedding portrait, something caught my eye again. The silver locket, a reflection. I magnified the image, running it through a sharpening filter. For a second, my heart stopped. In the tiny, distorted reflection of the locket, I saw the photographer, a figure cloaked in something white. I cleaned the image again. It was just a flare of light on the lens, a trick of the old film. It had to be. Then I analyzed the audio file, the 30 minutes of silence I had recorded. I loaded it into my spectral analysis software. The waveform almost flat, just low-frequency wind and the building's natural resonance. Standard stuff. I started applying filters, trying to isolate any anomaly. I filtered out the wind. Still nothing. I was about to give up, another dead end. But then I remembered the ritual tape. What if the echo wasn't just random noise? What if it existed on a specific frequency? The frequency of human breath. I created a custom filter designed to isolate and amplify only the narrow band of frequencies associated with quiet respiration. I applied it to the recording. The waveform on my screen, once a flat line, began to tremble. A pattern emerged from the noise floor, a tiny, almost invisible ripple, too structured to be random. It was rhythmic. I put on my headphones, isolated the amplified frequency, and held my breath. And then I heard it. Faint, distant, as if from a great chasm, but unmistakable. The sound of dozens of people breathing in perfect, synchronized unison. It was not on the recording. It was in the recording, embedded in the silence itself, a psychic residue, an echo of an absence captured by my microphone. It was impossible, but it was there. I packed up my equipment. I had come here to document a forgotten cult, to tell the story of a group of people who wanted to disappear. But driving away from Aethelburg, under a sky full of silent, indifferent stars, I realized I had the story all wrong. What if the most terrifying thing isn't the story a cult leaves behind, but the one that vanishes completely? We look for evidence of what people did, for their mark on the world. But what if a group's entire philosophy was centered on unmaking that mark, on becoming nothing? What if the real mystery of Aethelburg isn't what happened to them, but that they, in some impossible metaphysical way, actually succeeded? And what if the only proof they were ever here is the perfect, structured, and terrifying emptiness they left behind?